What's going on, YouTube? Ledger here once again. This time at you again with some more Honkai Star Rail. And I want to talk about the girl Jingliu. She's coming, she's around the corner. And I want to talk about the different teams that we can use once she's here. Now, just a disclaimer, I'm going to be going on vacation for a couple weeks. And I'm going to be leaving as soon as she comes out, right? I'm going to be able to play with her for maybe a day, and then I'm out for 2 weeks. So my videos are going to be a little bit less, have a little bit less quality, all right, for a little bit, because I'm trying to make them all at once. So once I'm out there, I can just periodically, release them. And then when I come back in 2 weeks, towards the end of October, then I'll start, getting the full quality out. So don't judge me if you see the video quality drop a little bit. Just want to give that forewarning. But yeah. So I want to talk about Jingliu team. So let's pretend that Yang Sheng is going to be Jingliu, right? Because that's who she's power creeping. Now, if you see, I got the team name is White Album. If you guys know the reference to that, then well, you're based, all right? As the kids say, you're based. So let's just pretend that Yang Sheng is Jingliu in this situation, all right? This is probably going to be one of the main teams that I'm going to be using with her specifically. This is more of a hyper carry team, right? So in this hyper carry team is basically a team where you just focus all your supports. The other teammates are all focused on trying to make your DPS hit as hard as possible, okay? And I think that this might end up being her best variation, her best type of team. I'm just making sure that she does that. Because Ting Yun is going to be giving her energy so she can burst, so she can get her burst faster, and her burst hits very hard, and it gives her a stack of syzygy. When she's able to just get her stack of syzygy and be able to skill, then that gives her more uptime on her transmigration state, right? So that's going to work too. And then also too, especially if you have her light cone, and if you're also somebody that's going to be using the quantum set on her too, that will add to it, where Pella is going to be able to take defense down by up to 40% to all enemies, right? And her skill, if you have her C4 or E4, then she's going to be able to reduce ice resistance for the enemy too. I think Pella's probably going to be one of her best supports. I think in any team you have Jingliu on, you're probably going to want to have Pella on it, regardless of what you're doing, right? I do think that she's going to be a very, very good, because the thing is, because I mentioned before in my Jingliu prep video, is that Jingliu gets a lot of stats, right? She gets a lot of attack. She gets a lot of crit rate. You can give her a lot of crit damage because of that. She's getting a lot of base stats in order to be able to deal a lot of damage. So instead of giving her more stats, right, because that already are starting to get diminishing returns, the best way to really buff her damage is to reduce the enemy's defenses. So if you have units that can defend the enemy's defenses, which is of course Pella, then her damage is going to start going through the roof, and it's going to be unstacking more defense shred to her, because as I'm starting to learn is that defense shred doesn't have diminishing returns. It actually gives you more damage the more defense shred that you do have. So that's something that you really want to work on, right? So if you can stack that, and Pella's a good way to stack that, then that's good to go right there, right? So Pella's going to be a really great addition to the team right there. Then I have Luocha. I like Luocha more than Fu Xuan in this situation, because people are saying that Fu Xuan is going to work well with her still, because it adds more HP, and the more HP your team has, the more attack they can give over to Jingliu, which does make sense. But the fact is, if the battle gets drawn on, Fu Xuan can't heal enough in order to keep up with the HP that's being lost, because every time you're attacking with her in her special state, she's losing HP, and then your teammates are getting hit, because Fu Xuan can heal you up enough if you're getting hit, right? She can keep that up. Fu Xuan can heal you enough if their teammates getting HP drained. She can do that too. But doing both at the same time, some of that damage is going to stick, and eventually the HP is going to go lower and lower and lower. And I think that won't be an issue whatsoever if you have Luocha instead, right? So that's the thing when it comes to that. Plus, your team should be a little bit more tanky. You should be giving your support some HP orbs or bodies. So just give them a little bit more tankiness when it comes to that, right? So hopefully they don't get one-shotted in that sense. And in that sense right there, Luocha will be able to keep everybody at full health, and you'll be good to go there. So I do think Luocha is the best sustain when it comes to that. But this is going to be, I think, is going to be your best team. But from there, you have other options, right? Like, for example, when it comes to the Harmony support, I think that Bronya actually might be the better pick when it comes to Harmony support. Because I initially was like, all right, Tengyu's clearly going to be better. Because when it comes to Jingliu, when she goes to her state, she advances her next attack forward instead of getting an extra turn like Sealy. Meaning that when she gets that advanced turn forward, she's not getting majority of Bronya's buffs. So I thought, okay, so Tengyu's probably just going to be the better pick. But then I realized that I'm stupid and I wasn't thinking. Because all you have to do is when she's in that state, then you use Bronya's skill in order to advance her forward, right? And then that way you can get Bronya's buffs. And Bronya's buffs are really good because she gives a lot of damage percent buff. So she's not giving into those diminishing returns with the other stats that Jingliu already does have. Whereas Tengyun gives a lot of attack also as well as damage percent. So here it goes to that. So I do think that Bronya might be better in terms of being a Harmony support than Tengyun. So that's something you can do. But Tengyu's going to be great, and I'm probably going to use Tengyun anyway, right? Because I'm tired of having Bronya on every single team. You can also, there's Yukong. I don't like Yukong that much in this sense. Not because of the speed tuning that she needs to do, but mainly because she just gives attack. She doesn't give damage percent. She just gives attack, which Jingliu doesn't really need more of. And then she gives crit stats, which Jingliu doesn't necessarily need more of. So I don't like Yukong in this situation. Asta is a similar situation where Asta, she gives a lot of attack, and that's not going to be that beneficial, but she gives a lot of speed. So if you don't have anything, then Asta is not a bad pick to put in there. If you don't have Tengyun, you don't have Bronya, then Asta isn't that bad of a pick because she gives a lot of speed, and that's going to be helpful. I say when it comes to debuffers, I say Pella or Silverwolf are going to be really good options right there. If you have Silverwolf, I honestly think that I honestly feel that you should be putting Pella over Silverwolf in this situation. This singular situation, I would say that Pella works better because, granted, if the enemy doesn't have, if you're using the Quantum set, then Silverwolf is going to, I'd say Silverwolf would kind of outweigh her a little bit because she gets a little bit more defense shred, and she's able to make sure that the enemy has both Quantum weakness and ice weakness. She's able to do that. So if you decide to go with the Quantum set, then Silverwolf kind of edges out, I think. But if you're not doing that, right, then Pella is going to edge out every single time. All right. So I'm going to be using Pella, but Silverwolf is going to have her options. But Silverwolf is a limited unit, so honestly, in terms of debuffers, I think it's just one of those two, right? Now, for sustains. Now, I do think that you should have a healer versus a preservation unit. So I say Luocha is good here. Then also, Bailu, I think, is another awesome pick. I do think Bailu is another awesome pick when it comes to that because Bailu also increases max HP and she heals. So she's giving the extra tankiness. She's allowing Jingliu to take more attack from the team by consuming the HP. So I do think that Bailu is going to be a very good pick when it comes to this. And the fact that Jingliu is so SP sufficient that she's going to allow Bailu to be able to use her skill to heal consistently, making it easier for Bailu to solo sustain, right? So I do think Bailu is going to be a very good pick to choose when coming to pair with Jingliu. And of course, Natasha is going to be a good pick. Japard is kind of in the same situation as Fu Xuan, where Japard can make sure that you don't take any damage whatsoever, but your team is going to be constantly losing HP based on the drain. It's not a lot of HP, so it's not really that bad of a deal. So if you want to put Japard with Jingliu, then go right ahead. It's just that for long drawn out battles, you're going to be constantly losing HP, and so just watch out for that, right? Now the thing is with Jingliu, she might be a little bit tanky too, because she is getting some effect resistance, and she does have some traces that give HP, so she's going to be a little bit tanky. So Lynx's aggro isn't going to be that bad of a thing when it comes to that right there. So Lynx is going to be another good pick for a healer too. So you have a lot of options when it comes to sustains, when it comes to her. And if you want to use Fushana, go right ahead. You know, it does have, I mean, if you have a well-built Jingliu, then the battle isn't going to go on that long. So you're still going to be able to get those W's, right? So there's that too. All right. So you have a bunch of options when it comes to sustains for her. So that's not really going to be that big of a deal. Now, also, when it comes to her teams, she does have teams where she can do more of like a dual DPS team, right? Because she's very SP efficient. So there are the other people who can go good with her. Specifically, Blade. Blade can go really good with her because Blade is going to be able to counter a lot more because he's constantly getting his HP stolen. And every time his HP is stolen, he gets a stack. So he's going to be doing a good amount of AoE damage, and he's going to be able to, and since he is also SP efficient, then he's going to be, then the team's going to be able to still do just fine, right? In order to put Blade in there, I would take out the Harmony unit and leave your defense shredder in, like Pella. That way, Jingliu can still maximize her damage to the most, and Blade can still get the benefit off of that that defense shred to the enemy. So that's what I would do with that. I would leave your defense shredder on, and then I would put Blade in there in place of the Harmony unit. That is how I would set that up right there, right? But you can also put other units like Clara. I don't have Clara. You can put other you can put whoever else you want in there. I mean, Jingliu and Sealy might be a little bit too SP hungry. So, like, I mean, same with Kafka, things like that. But I mean, there's ways that you can work around it right there, right? But you know, she is friendly when it comes to dual DPSing units, things like that, because you can work around that, right? So, but I say Blade is going to be the #1 pick when it comes to a dual DPS team. But yeah, those are a couple of things I just want to get out of the way in terms of what teams you can use to with Jingliu. She's going to be a very versatile unit. So, you know, I'm sure there's going to be other teams that people find that I didn't mention. So, you know, go ahead, drop them down in the comments. Let me know what you guys have come up with. And if you like the video, of course, like the content, subscribe to the channel so you can get more content like this. And with that on there, Legend out.